Looks a little different than it did in the video, doesn't it? Well, let me show you a little bit why. As you can see, it's really dull. I did have to re-sand this entire thing down. This is sanded all the way from the beginning back up to, I believe I got about 1500 grit sandpaper. Reason for that is, oh well, I was messing around with it, and up this way on my workbench is where the drill press is. And I was jostling the workbench around a little bit, and the drill press fell and actually damaged the aluminum, the aluminum finish. You can actually see right here, there's actually a really deep gash right there that I just couldn't sand out. It's too deep. But that's alright, because this is where the motherboard is going to go. So it's actually going to cover that up a little bit. But these are the reservoirs. These each hold up to about here is 1 full gallon of water. So they're actually going to hold a little bit more than that, plus the tubing, the radiators, and the blocks themselves. Speaking of the radiators, let's get a little closer in and I'll show you that. Okay, so this is where the radiators are going to be going. Obviously, they're going to be going underneath with the EK fans on top. And that piece of acrylic that you saw me machining out, this guy, what that is actually going to be is this. I sanded the insides of the circles so that way they're not polished. There's actually a bit of a satin finish to them. And they're actually going to go here, but underneath. So there's going to be a 1/4 inch gap between, this is a 1/4 inch between the fans and the case. And then using this, which is a dark side 12-inch white LED, they are actually going to be going right here like this. So when they light up, these rings here will actually reflect the light, and it'll just have a nice white ring to it, a little accent lighting to them. So that's going to go under there. Right here is where the pumps are going to go. Those little holes you saw me milling out. These are the pump tops. I made these myself on the CNC machine. See, I gave them a nice little chamfer, and I polished them up really nice. These guys, the pumps will go in here, and then this is going to sit like this. So the pump is actually going to be recessed underneath. You won't see it, and then this will sit nice. These will sit flush. There's one here and one on the other side. And what it's going to do is it'll exit the reservoir into the pump, out of the pump, and into the radiator. It's going to exit the radiator, flow down this way, and then it'll come up, go into the graphics cards, flow through the cards, exit, and then back here into the reservoir. Same thing goes for the other side. It's going to go, from the reservoir into the pump, radiator, exit the radiator, into the CPU block, back into the reservoir. So the whole overall thing is going to be very, very symmetrical. It's all going to look almost exactly the same. The only difference are the tubes that are going to be going to the blocks and from the blocks to the reservoirs. Everything else is going to be very symmetrical, straight down the center, and it's going to look good. I went with the polished aluminum and this black. It's actually, what I used was this. It's a Rust-Oleum truck bed coating. The reason that I went and used this is because I like the contrast of the soft polished aluminum and the rugged look that you get from the truck bed coating. It's actually very durable. I'll get this off of here and I'll give you a closer look. Still got a little dust on it though. Right here, it's got a nice durable finish to it. It's nice textured. And I did the same thing for this here. And all of these guys here, which I had to remove. And also these rings that I printed out. I printed these out just to give it a little bit of an accent to the fans. And there's the other. Here's the other guy. Let me show you this real quick. This is the other one. This is the O-ring for seal the pump. It's the bottom piece and the top piece. They go there. So I think that's all I'm really going to do to talk about with the case for the moment. Let's go ahead and go to the graphics cards and we show you what I did with those. Okay, here's one of the graphics cards. These are GTX 1070s from EVGA, the FTWs. Reason I went with these is because I know one single card as opposed to two, whatever you want to go with. But I like the look of two cards as opposed to one. It just looks better, more full to me. And two 1070s will outperform a single 1070 anyway. Two of these were the same price as a single 1080. So that's why I went with the 1070s. They have two 8-pin connectors, so I'm going to be able to put a decent amount of voltage to these things. Plus with the water volume I have, I'm planning on overclocking. But let me show you this real quick. The EK water blocks, they have these two 3mm holes for LEDs. So I bought a dark side pre-sleeved UV LEDs, put them in there, and then I strung the wires through here and out through the back here. Let me show you the back plate. Flip this around. Here is what I did for the back plate. It's actually upside down, but I'll just flip it like this so you can see better. That's the back plate. This is made out of aluminum. I machined this out of aluminum. I machined this bezel out of aluminum, and then I took this, this is a piece of 1/8 inch thick acrylic. I cut some decals out with my new vinyl cutter, flipped them around, backwards of course, and I stuck them to the back side of the acrylic, and then I took it to the sandblaster and I media blasted it, which gave this nice little etch here. After I peeled the vinyl off, this nice little etch was left. And now the acrylic here is a friction fit, meaning it goes in, and there's a very slight tolerance, so the the thickness, the tension between the bezel and the acrylic will hold it in place. And these are going to go on the motherboard like this, so that way that logo stands out and you can read it. In hindsight, I probably should have done it from top to bottom, so that way it looks a little bit more monolithic or something, I don't know. But that's besides the point. What I did here on the bottom was I put dark side UV LED strips onto the bottom like this. And what I did was, if you look here, these are the connectors for dark side LEDs. It's just 2 pins. It's just a red and a black, positive and negative. I took the LEDs from the water block, ran them across, and then if you look at a dark side LED strip, on the ends, you see these 2 pads here, and on the other end, there's 2 more pads. And there's also some, every other LED. And then what you can do is you could just solder wires straight onto here. So instead of using, say you're using 5 of these, you don't have to wire in 5 of these. You can you can actually solder wires to all of them, and you can power them off of one connector, because an LED is such a low amperage rating, which is exactly what I did. The LEDs come through here, and then they are soldered directly onto the UV LED, and they'll connect with one connector. And I've got that for both graphics cards. Let me go grab a power supply, shut the lights off, and I'll show you guys what this is going to look like when it's done. Alright, here's what it looks like. This is the front. The graphics cards are going to have green coolant in them, so this is all going to light up. And if we turn it around to the other side, you'll see how that looks. See how it gives it this cool edge lit effect, and you can see the black PCB and the little lights and little reflections from all the solder points. But I think that actually looks really cool. It gives it more depth. If you're looking for depth, you do want something behind your acrylic. If it was just completely open and you want that that transparency, you want something behind it. So that's why this is actually etched on the back side of the acrylic. So that way the light is actually transferring through the acrylic on top of this and then reflecting off. It's called edge lighting. I think it gives it a really cool effect, and everything works fine, perfect, and I think it looks really, really cool. Alright. Alright guys, I think that is going to sum it up for this video. Just wanted to give you guys an update on this. I am actually now at the point where I can start tearing that guy apart and transferring things to this. Because there are still some things on this computer that I can't do until I have that one apart, like the holes drilled for the radiators, for the pass-throughs for the tubes. But it's all set and ready. Next video will be the final assembly of everything. Everything should be polished by then, and of course we're gonna have some. I'll be recording the filling and bleeding of these badass looking graphics cards. So, till next time, guys. See you later. Dan out.